Hello everyone, my dear students. Today I am going to discuss Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. Erik Erikson was an ego psychologist. His theory is generally called a psychosocial theory of personality development. Erikson theory said that every human being passed through several distinct and qualitatively different stages in life from birth to death. At each stage, we have different needs, we ask different questions, and meet people who influence our behavior and learning. The key idea in Erikson's theory is that the individual faces a conflict at each stage. He said that if people successfully deal with the conflict, they emerge from the stage with psychological strengths for rest of their lives, and if not, they may not develop the essential skills needed for a strong sense of self. So while going to the stages of development, there are 8 stages of psychological development given by Erikson. First is infancy, that is from 0 to 18 months. This stage is called trust versus mistrust. Second, the stage of autonomy versus shame and doubt, that is early childhood, 1 to 3 years. Third is the stage of initiative versus guilt, the preschool stage, 3 to 5 years. Fourth, the school age, that is 6 to 12 years of age. This is the stage of industry versus inferiority. Next is the stage of adolescence, that is from 12 to 19 years of age. This stage is the stage of identity versus role of confusion. Next is the young adulthood, that is from the 20 to 25 years of age, that is the stage of intimacy versus isolation. Next, generivity versus stagnation, that is middle adulthood, that is from 26 to 64 years. And the last stage, that is the maturity stage, that is 65 plus, that is still that is ego integrity versus despair. Let me discuss the first stage. The first stage is the stage of trust versus mistrust, 0 to 1 years. As infant in this stage is utterly dependent, developing trust is based on dependability and quality of the child's caregivers. If a child is provided everything like food, love, warmth, safety, and nurturing, a child will develop trust and will feel safe and secure in the world. Caregivers who are inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, or rejecting contributes to the feeling of mistrust, which will result in fear and a belief that the world is inconsistent and unpredictable. Number 2 stage is the stage of autonomy versus shame, that is from 2 to 4 years of old. This is the stage that begins to explore the world at their own will. The child explores the world at their own will. The very young child learns by feeling with all the senses, and an expression of autonomy in this process seems very relevant to the child growth. And if autonomy is not provided or autonomy is not given to them, a sense of shame develops. Next, it prevents a healthy acceptance of their own limits. And third, the child feels devastated by the small causes. Next, this is also the stage when feelings are beginning to be expressed, like they start to express their own feelings. It is important not to condemn this feeling. The child may hold such as anger or jealous, but to help the child to be sensitive to his behavioral expression in a particular situation. The number 3 stage, that is initiative versus guilt, that is from 4 to 6 years of age. The child in this stage is beginning to make their own decisions, like they take their own decision and carry them out primarily through play activities. Imagination is the key moves A sense of purpose develops when she is able to envision something in her imagination and pursue it. Such initiatives must be encouraged. If they are encouraged, they follow their interest, and if they are not, or if they are held back, they develop the sense of guilt. So, for this, in this stage, some features of kindergarten's programs are suggested, like children must be allowed for expression of imagination, such as playing with natural materials and role playing. It is said that the ready made toys often inhibit this expression as there is very little that can be imaginative. Stories and songs that stimulate imagination can be introduced. Next, the real life activities like serving food, chopping vegetables prepare children for participating in community around them. Next, the child directed activities where the child chooses our activity and repeats it as often as she wants must be encouraged. This is also an opportunity to show initiative and take responsibility. The fourth stage, that is industry versus inferiority, that is from age 6 to 12. These are the years when a child begin to work hard academically and gain competence in various areas of activity. This is also a time when the child is praised for doing for achievement. If child are recognized by the teachers and given feedback in this stage, they get motivated, and if not, they lose motivation for studies. At the same time, it is vitally important to help the child feel that they can pursue a task and do it well. And we can also introduce some learning targets, maybe a set of variety of areas, so that they can learn better, or they have a target that I must learn this or I must do this. This phase is also directly linked to productivity in later life. Thus, the junior and middle school is a time to validate the child in his or her own multiple talents and to build a work of ethics. The later part of this phase begins a redefining of the child response relationship. The later part of this phase begins a redefining of the child relationship with the world. So the curriculum must include a different kind of input to cater to this, such as observational exercise, area studies, understanding the flow of resources and material. The fifth stage, that is 12 to 19 years old, that is the stage of identity versus role confusion. It is a stage of adolescence, which we also say the stage of storm and stress. In this stage, the questions arises like, who am I? What are my values? What is my identity? Identity is defined as the ability to exercise choice. Being able to take initiative and show proof of learning would be appropriate at this stage. For Erikson, this is also a stage where values have to be chosen, beliefs understand, and the self explored. If values are imposed rather than chosen by the child herself, they are not internalized and there is a lack of meaning in later. Erikson also said that adolescents are often influenced by role models and tend to imitate and hold their values. In this stage, there is a need for open and warm relationships between adults and adolescents, which will keep the channel of communication openly. For instance, it is even that the young adults are influenced by the role model from the media and from the society, but we should help them to see that imitation is not everything or it is limited. Next, this is also a stage when we can explore issues of responsibility to society and the world at large. So, these 5 stages are the main stages which Erikson has said about the social psycho development. The three. So I have discussed the 5 stages which I think are relevant for our studies. Thank you.